I love breathing. Honestly, I don't think I could live without breathing. Like a... Come here. Say hi. Come here. Okay. On that awkward note, let's start this video. Hi friends, my name is Molly and welcome back to my channel, or hi if you're here for the first time. My name is Molly. I do yoga and have fun with it. Today's video I wanted to cover 5 mistakes that I made when I first started yoga, and it's not like I regret them. I feel like this is a natural state of every practice. The goal of this video is not to stop you from doing them, is to bring your attention to them and expand our practice together. Let's start with the number one thing. I think it's one of the main things that I'm still discovering, and the more I discover, the more I understand how much there is to discover, is the breath. One of the first things that I didn't pay attention enough to is the breath. People who start yoga know how big of a part breath is in the practice, but I think it's very hard to concentrate on it, especially when you begin with your practice, and this is something that I found hard to concentrate on. Only when the teacher would cue it as pay attention to your breath or connect with your breath, I would connect with it, or I would notice it for a brief moment, and then I would get overwhelmed by everything else that's going on. So I think it's very easy to neglect the breath. I learned more and more that the breath really makes your practice more powerful and how much value it adds to the whole experience. So I think the earlier you start paying particular attention to the breath, the better you will get. If there's one thing worth paying attention to in your practice, it's the breath. The more you practice, the more you can't take your practice without proper breath. If I feel that my breath is not there, I stop it and I reconnect with my breath. My practice is not going to be effective, or my practice is not going to be joyful if my breath is not there. Eventually, with the time, I figured out my relationship with the breath, and I still do, and I've been gaining so much beautiful perspective from the act of breathing. I can't wait for you to explore this life power that flows through you. Engage with it, connect with it, and enjoy it. Yay! Breath. So good. I love breathing. Honestly, I don't think I could live without breathing. You got the bomb. This is Laika. I'm watching her. She's not my dog, but I really like her. Ew. Mistake number 2. Letting the ego take over. This inevitable enemy that I am fighting with every day is my ego. In the beginning of my practice, there were very brief few moments where I would lose the ego and really engage in the moment. And I think because the practice was so new to me and because the practice was so unexplored, it was easier for me to not involve the ego because I was concentrating on what I need to figure out. But the more I got comfortable with the practice and more engaged with it, the more I started comparing myself to the yesterday me or to the future me that I want to be. The ego will always jump out and whisper you stuff on your ear, or is gonna tell you to go deeper when you can, or try to take you out of your space. This is something that I'm starting to understand right now, how easy it is to lose the now moment, the moment where you're in a posture, the moment where you're moving. It's very easy to succumb to the ego and get taken away by it into the future or the past. It's constantly gonna future the past. It's just like a secret practice that you're doing with yoga. You're fighting that ego, and it's very liberating when you do have glimpses of freedom, of being in the now. Remember, this is the practice. This is where you practice to be strong despite the fact that there's so much resistance. It's a beautiful challenge to fight against that voice that constantly wants you to suffer in the past or the future. I'm actually reading a really cool book, The Power of Now, and it's really teaching me how to fight that ego better. Mistake number 3. Comparing yourself to others. Also has a lot to do with ego. I personally found motivation in yoga through a YouTube channel, and then further I was looking at people doing yoga, and it's very easy to compare yourself. For me personally, it was a big part of my journey is to get rid of comparing myself to other people. I think it's healthy to set goals, and I think that motivates you, but when you turn that motivation into comparison, you're not doing yourself a favor. It's all about bringing your attention first to the fact that you are comparing yourself to someone or some sort of past or future version of yourself that you want to be. The only thing that exists right now is what you're working with right now. And what you can do now is practice, consider your goals, let it motivate you, let it decide what you're practicing today, right now, but don't let it decide how you feel about yourself. Cultivate its space first, understand who you are, understand what your body can do, what your body wants to do. Comparison will slowly fade away because of how strong your own practice is becoming and your own understanding. Mistake number 4, neglecting your practice because of the emotions. So next step is also my personal experience with practice and challenges of doing it every day. Sometimes everything is just like a big dramatic thing and you're overwhelmed with feelings. You're angry or you're upset, or even if you're really happy, sort of unhealthy, overwhelmed feeling of emotion stops you from doing the practice because you feel like you can't. Sometimes I feel so angry or so upset that I can't do the practice. I'm too upset. And by neglecting the practice, I was continuing to invest my energy into that emotion that was tearing me down. With experience, I found out that even though I feel tired, the best thing is to bring myself to the mat and take that energy out in the practice, and I would always end up feeling better, or at least I tired myself out to kind of, calm down a little bit more. That helps with regulating my emotions. Yoga did become my therapy, and I think this is very beautiful that it helped me to get over so many things that were so unnecessary by just taking that energy into something more productive like the practice, or something more present like the practice. Don't neglect your practice just because you feel upset. It might really help you. And my last mistake that I was doing a lot, not gonna lie, when I first started, and to be honest I still do because I'm a very impatient person, rushing your practice. I might neglect warm-up sometimes to do the cool posture. I would just rush into it. And that is just not good for your body. This is how you injure yourself. By dedicating your practice to preparing yourself for the posture that your goal is, or for the posture that you want to do, you get many more benefits. You don't even have to do the posture itself. By doing everything else that prepares you for that posture, by doing everything else that develops the needed flexibility and strength, is a way better way to achieve that posture rather than practicing that posture without proper warm-up, because that will just injure you and that posture is not going to be as effective and as strong. This is just my personal thing that I noticed in my practice, that I sometimes get so impatient and ambitious about doing certain postures. This is where yoga teaches me patience, which I'm really grateful for, because I need patience in my life so badly. I have no patience. Actually, I do have patience a little bit now because, the yoga has been helping. Like I said, I don't regret any of these mistakes, and the goal of this video is not to tell you, stop doing them. You're not gonna have all the sets and all the skills right away when you start your practice. It's about developing each and every aspect, and there's so many aspects that you will tap into throughout your practice. Anyway, it was nice chatting with you. I love my practice. This is something that brings so much joy into my life, and I just really hope you're enjoying your practice. Been applying so many noises. I live next to a hospital. It was really nice chatting with you guys. Let me know what you think of this video, and if there's anything you kind of gained from it, I would love to hear about it. Or if there's something that you would like to add to it, I would love to hear about your experience and what you've been discovering through your practice. And yeah, it was really nice talking to you. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.